Can I touch your hair? I use my bangs. I have cried. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you are fine and things are going on well for you. Before I dive right into today's video, I would love to thank each and every one of you guys who have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Yeah, I was on 100 subscribers before I started, and now I'm on 170 or 170. Yeah, 170 something. I just want to thank you guys, and if you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please make sure you click the subscribe button, like and share and subscribe. Thank you. This video I'll be talking about live in Russia versus live in England. If you do not already know, I used to study in Russia. I was in Russia for 3 years before I moved down to England, and I've been here for a while. At least I've done 2 semesters already, so I'm fit enough to speak about this topic. Yeah, and we'll be talking about the differences in the education system. I mean, the university life, because I was studying there and I'm still studying here in England. I'll be talking about the cost of living. I'll be talking about the weather, the cultural shock, life in general. Make sure you watch this video to the end so that you do not miss out on any tea or any gist, because trust me now, I'm going to say things that are nice. Yeah, so make sure you watch to the end. One of the major difference I'll be speaking about is the education system, the university life in Russia compared to that of England. Like I already said, I was in Russia for 3 years, and before I started my main course, which was nursing, I had to go through the language class for a year. So if you don't already know, they don't speak English in Russia. Russian or Ruski is their official language. So you have to learn their language to survive. If you're an international student who has plans of studying in Russia, you must go through the language class for a year before you proceed with your actual course, based on my knowledge, even for those who will be studying in English medium. Because you need the language to survive. Like, if you want to buy something, you want to go anywhere, communicate with people, you need the language. Or maybe you could make use of a translator, but then translator doesn't work as much, but you could survive with that also. So you need to learn the language, and an average Russian doesn't speak English. So basically, you need the language to survive. So I took the language class for a year before I started nursing. And when I got to my main school, life was kind of different. For a girl coming from Nigeria, I was in a Nigerian university before I left. And I tasted the education system over there also for a very long time before I traveled down to Russia. So coming to Russia, everything was kind of new. Like the education system, these guys resume 1st of September every year. Like it's constant, irrespective of what day of the week it falls on. Like school resumes, maybe except Sunday, sha. Yeah, and how we were assessed, I mean, examinations. Yeah, so in Russia, there's something we call colloquium. It could either be an oral test or maybe written test. Yeah, so this is done every fourth week of like the semester. So let's say you resume September. At the end of September, which is the end of the fourth week, you would write colloquium, or maybe it's going to be oral, depending on the course, depending on the lecturer, how they want it. So the first one I had to do was oral. Like, guys, biology colloquium. It was a lot. Like, seriously, it was a lot. I mean, for a babe who has been in Nigeria for the most part of her life, and our education system there is different, even the way we are assessed and things like that, being introduced to that was so new and shocking. Like, I had to read from pali to pali, as in pay. I had to read, like, I had to read and cram most of these things. For me, it was like la cram, la po. So when I got to the front of my lecturer, the day I was ready to take my colloquium, I had cried. Guys, I cried. Like, I cried. Even my classmates were surprised. It wasn't planned. Like, the people plan to cry. I don't know. I cried. If you ask me why did I cry, I do not know. Actually, I know. I cried because I was overwhelmed. Like, guys, I used the whole week. I was awake throughout the weekend, reading, because I wanted to pass. And the fear was there. What was the fear? I was scared of, what if the lecturer doesn't ask me what I read? Because I didn't read everything. I mean, I did not finish everything. It's a lot. Firstly, I'm studying Russian language. Yeah. Some people might say it's not an excuse, but guys, we know, even Russians know that learning their language is not easy. So it takes me extra hours to read. So now having to study in someone else's language, it was a lot for me. I was so confused. I was overwhelmed, and I cried for 1 minute. The lecturer was like, no, actually, the lecturer was just looking at me, and my classmates were, some of them were laughing, some of them were just like, oh, please don't worry, you will pass. In short, I passed. I don't want to bore you guys. In short, I passed. She asked me whatever, and I passed it. So, being exposed to that for the very first time was overwhelming for me. Sitting beside my lecturer, asking me a question, eyeball to eyeball. I don't even know what she will ask. Asking questions at random, and I have to like answer. And trust me, guys, these guys do not care. They don't care either you're foreign or not. And they expect that for you to be in their country, you must have been prepared, okay? Which is fair, because I mean, we are all being taught at the same time, but maybe I could have just stayed in my country if I was not comfortable with it. And I had a lecturer that used to say back then, like, girl, if you don't understand the language, go back to your country. She didn't say it to me. She not say it to me. No, actually, she not say. Then for the examination, there's something we call billets. Billets in English is tickets, but at the same time, it's not the actual tickets that we used to like. It's not a pass, sure you get. So they're like small papers that have questions on them. It could be 4 questions, it could be 5, it could be anything, depending on the lecturer. You go into the examination, you meet these papers on the table, face down, then you just have to pick a random. Whatsoever you pick, my sister, anything you pick is what you answer. Like, you literally cannot change. Yeah, fine, you could change your billets, but then you'll be losing marks. I think once you swap your billets, you cannot get more than 50% or so. Yeah, so whatever you pick is what you get. And I don't like the system because it seems so unfair to me. I mean, we all get taught the same thing in class, but we do not get tested on the same thing. If you guys don't understand, so these papers, they have different questions with different topics. So let's say, for example, anatomy. Now someone picks digestive system, another person picks this thing, nervous system, and we all know nervous system is much more complex than digestive system, things like that. Or maybe someone picks questions on like the introduction to biology, which are like basic things. So it's literally a game of luck. And to me, that seems so unfair. We should be asked the same question. We should get tested on the same thing. That's how you know if you actually have that in our head. So it was gambling. To me, it was gambling. I didn't like it. Now let's speak about the students' life here in England. There's also a comma with this one. I just feel like no country is perfect. Nowhere is perfect. You just have to make things work, right? Firstly, I'm happy and I'm grateful to God because now I have to study in English language. I do not have to worry about anything. You know, they speak English over here. So no stress. I can talk anytime. Not like I can talk anytime, but like I can easily express myself. Unlike before, in Russia, I talk about in class, girl, I'll just be staring at the lecturer, I'll go back home and read, which I don't even do at times. Like I don't at times in Russia, I actually don't read immediately after school. I have to set a day aside. I mean, I'm not going to lie. You lie, call me anything, judge me. I'm not gonna lie. I have to pick a date or a day to read because the stress of going to school alone is already there. But and you're still struggling to understand what you were taught in class. So most times I just set a day aside to study and just, sort myself out. But the good part of going to classes in Russia was you get a mark for each class you attend. So just going to class alone, you get maybe like 3 marks, 5 marks, depending on the lecturer. But here in England, there's no mark for attendance, or let me say for my uni, there's no mark for attendance. But if you are an international student, you need to have not less than 75% like of attendance. If not, you would or you might lose your student's visa because it's your school that is sponsoring you, right? So you're here to study. If you have less than 75, they might have to call you and all those kind of things, review whatever. Yeah, for the education system over here, it's kind of different. Firstly, we speak English and life is better, everything is okay. I don't have to overthink my life, right? But for the assessments, I do not know if it's because of my course of study, but mostly we do essay writing. I mean, you'll be writing essay, or a better word in Ruski, referat. You have to make research, read books, stuff like that. You write what you think, you write whatever it is you learned from the research, then you'll grade it. That's mostly what our assessment is about. But then I have practical assessment also, which is OSCE, like skills, just like you show teachers like how to do this, how to do that, then they'll grade you, stuff like that. And there are some courses that have written examination for their assessments, but most of our assessments is essay writing. And if you know me very well, most especially from secondary school, you would know that I do not like essay writing. Like I don't. Just let me read and ask me questions. Simple. I do not like essay writing. Jesus.
I want to live soft life. No stress.
It's not my thing, but I mean at the end of the day, I have to adapt and I have to pass. Nothing good comes easy, like my dad says, so I just have to. But in general, the education system here, for me, it's better. The second thing I'll be talking about is the cost of living. Yeah. England is expensive, guys. England, I feel like everybody knows this thing, right? England is expensive compared to Russia. Russia is a very, 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 very good country, guys. I'm not going to lie. Like the country itself, the economy, it's okay for me. I think it's perfect. Okay, even though I was living in Moscow and the standard of living in Moscow was high, housing rent, stuff like that. But bear in mind, if you're living in capital city like Moscow, everyone knows it's just like living in London, living in Abuja, living once you are living in capital city, it's going to be much more expensive, right? Yeah, but in general, Russia is easier to live in. Like getting food, students discounts, things like that. Like things are very, very, very affordable in Russia. Quickly, I will speak about the rent. When I was in Russia, I was in student accommodation and I was paying about $80 monthly for my rent. Guys, that is expensive. Fine, it's because of the hostel I chose. They are cheaper hostels, but for what I was getting, it was expensive. Because I had friends in other uni that were getting the same thing I was getting for a cheaper price. Like some of them were paying around 20, around 30, $20 safe. Imagine me, I was paying 80. So first of all, my uni in Russia is very, very expensive. If not that I was on scholarship, guys, like that uni is expensive. So if you are going from Nigeria on self-sponsorship, I mean, my uni is okay in terms of the aesthetics, things like that. It's cute and stuff like that. But I'm going to be sincere with you guys. It still doesn't worth it. Like, you can get the same thing in another university for a cheaper price. So what's the point? Everything is just expensive. $80. My mates in the same school, they're paying 20, 30. Even insurance alone. I was paying 300 for it. I was paying 300 month. I was paying $300 yearly for insurance. While my mates were paying maybe like 150. That university is just expensive. I digress. For my uni here in England, we pay between 150 to 160 weekly. So that's like 550 to 600 a month for rent. But then it's expensive, right? Yeah, it is expensive. 150, 500 to 600 pounds for students, pounds rather, for students uni is quite on the high side. But the good part is that you would be having a room to yourself. You have your bathroom, your toilet to yourself, but then you'll be sharing the kitchen. So basically, you could be sharing the kitchen with 3 other people, like 3 rooms to a kitchen, but you have your room and everything to yourself. Unlike where I was in Russia, my uni did not have any single room. Like, I don't know. I don't. The best you could get was 2 people in a room. They share the toilet and bathroom. Like, the privacy was just not there at all. I mean, their excuse was that it's an international university and they're trying to promote unity, stuff like that, whatever, whatever. So the least you can get is 2 people in your room so that I can relate. I mean, is it by force? Why are you forcing me to? Let me keep quiet. Like, why is it by force? Like, is it by force? It is what it is. So that's it for the rent. Now we're talking about the transportation, guys. We all know. I feel like everyone knows. I mean, if something is good, if something is good, I will say it's good. Like, this guy is going to see Okoyemi. If something is good, I will say it's good. Russia, I'm not going to lie. Russia has the best, the best and the best transport system. Like, yeah, in Russia, specifically Moscow, we had train, like underground train we could make use of, and that's made life very, 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 like very, very easy. You could easily access anywhere, like anytime. I think it's kind of run. It's not 24 hours, but I would say it's mostly runs for 24 hours. So maybe the train stops around 1, then resumes around 5 or so. So basically, that's almost 24. Like, that's almost 24 hours train service, right? The bus, like, the buses are cute, they are nice, they are clean, except for winter. But like, no, 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 nice. And Russia, we had a card. We call it social card. You could apply for the card if you're a student or a worker. Like, just apply for the card. Then you make a monthly subscription. So you could either pay for bus and train, or you pay for one, or you pay both, like your choice. And with this card, trust me, you can use it, like it's unlimited for that month. It is unlimited, literally, like unlimited. But over here, I don't know if it's because of where I stay. We buy tickets, like basically just pay for the transport as you are going. You can do that in Russia too, but getting social card was cheaper, like way, way cheaper than just tapping, 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 tapping. It's another thing that happened to me, guys. Do you guys know that I've missed my bus here? Boss, woo! I've missed my bus twice since I got to this country. Like, twice. That's why I'm always trekking. Now I'll just come and use my leg and trek. Because what's the point? Once I check the map and it's like 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes walk, I just use my leg. I use my bends, my leg. Yeah. So let me quickly just you guys on how I missed my bus. So the first time I would be using bus over here, I was waiting at the bus station and I saw my bus coming. And yeah, I was there waiting for the bus to stop, and the bus did not stop. The bus literally passed my front like this. And I'm like, what's going on? There's someone has to tell me that I needed to like wave, like do like this. Oh wow, oh wow. I needed to signal this thing. I needed to signal the driver for him to stop. I mean, in Moscow, for me, I never experienced such, like buses stop at every bus stop. So I was expecting the same thing, like either someone is getting down or not to, or maybe somebody wants to enter the bus or not to. These guys just stop at each bus stop. So I was expecting the same thing, like you can see people standing, so we're going to stop, but it's not like that. Then the second time again, it happened. Like, I'm yet to get used to it. In terms of transport, I'm going to give it to Russia, like hands down. If you are someone that loves this thing, like cute things, those afefe, you always say afefe, like aesthetics, basically. I think you enjoy Moscow, you enjoy Russia, you would really enjoy it. Like, you would, if you do not mind the language, or you're someone that loves to like explore. Some people, they just love, like they love things that will challenge them. They'll say, oh, I just want to feel challenged. So if you're someone that loves things like that, I'm gonna recommend. Like, for real, there are people like that. They just want to see, they want to feel challenged. Oh, how will I survive in a foreign land? How will I do this? If that's your niche, if that's what you want, my brother, my sister, like, is actually cute. Then lastly, I'll be talking about the cultural difference. Mind you, I am Nigerian by birth, by nationality, by passport, by everything, by color. I'm Nigerian. So don't eat me or come for me. Eat me. I'm sorry, eat me. Woo. Don't come for me because of what I'm about to say or anything. When I was staying in Russia, I used to get this particular question from a lot of my friends back home, which is, do I experience racism in Russia? And guys, I'm going to say it depends, for real. Like, it really, really depends. It depends on how you present yourself as a person. You can experience racism anywhere. Even your people from the same tribe, they can be racist towards you. So you don't have to leave your country. You don't have to be in a foreign land before you experience racism. The only difference is that there's higher chance of experiencing it when you're outside your own country, right? So for me, I did not. But I would say the one that was about to happen, like slightly, was between my classmates and I know me, like my Russian classmates versus Nigerian classmates. Sure, you guys, like the Russians were always trying to do like this at times towards, or like, I don't want to say much. You guys know that racism, whatever. The thing you never find me doing is getting involved in physical fights, and I still don't understand, like, people that do like this. Like, what's the point? Like, why are you fighting? I don't know. It's just ghetto to me. Like, talk, give me, I give you. Stay there, like talk, I talk.
As you see me, I'm a simple woman by nature. I'm not look for trouble. But if you say you want trouble, I will take your ICM, I will take your head carrier.
That's just it. So if you start a fight, you do not have the right to tell your opponent what to fight you with. And you abuse my mommy, I did not abuse your mommy. Girl, you started the fight. End of the day, fine, we might be immigrants, we might be foreigners in your country, but we are contributing to your economy. Like, we are paying fees. Like, fine, I was on scholarship, but like we had people that were paying school fees. So we are still contributing to your economy. It's win-win. I help you, you help me. I don't help Parawan. So no pressure. See, if you are living in Nigeria or you are anywhere in Nigeria or whatever, don't allow anybody to intimidate you. That's just it. Do not allow anybody to intimidate you. Once people can see that you are easily intimidated, they will use that against you. And getting here also, I haven't experienced any. The only difference with this place and Russia in terms of like the how people see and relate to is that I would say these guys are more used to black over here, like where I stay. Probably because they were the one that colonized us or something, but like it's not strange for you to see black people in places of authority, black people doing this, doing that. Like it's not a strange thing. Even in school, we have black lecturers. Like it's just normal. Like it's normal. Like even applying for jobs, there's nothing, there's no discrimination, things like that. And yeah, you do not get the unnecessary stare we get in Russia. Like these guys be staring at you in Russia, like I'm like, girl, do you want to enter me? Like, they will literally be staring at you. And you be like, why are you staring? You can look at me, fine. You can admire me. You can admire my dressing. You can admire what I look like. But stop staring, like, staring. Like, don't do like this. Don't do like this. So I do not get that unnecessary stare over here. And people do not just walk up to me and say, oh, is that your hair? Can I touch your hair? And I would say that's probably because they are more exposed, right, to things like that. So I wouldn't blame or take sides or whatever. So I know I said this is my last point, but what I'm about to say is very, very important. As international students, I know we are always concerned about how to make money abroad, getting jobs and stuff like that. So I'll be talking about getting job in Russia and getting job here in England. So when I was in Russia, I was not working. Okay, I worked for just one summer. I worked for 2 months in my first year summer. But every other whatever, I was not working. I had my business. I was selling clothes, and I was comfortable with what I was earning. So I didn't bother about getting jobs right that. But based on my knowledge and what I know, most foreigners in Russia teach English language or maybe French, Spanish, any language for side hustle. And that's because Russia is not an English speaking country. And now most parents are trying to, let their kids learn English, just enlighten themselves like that. So you get gigs of, teach my students. It could be online, it could be at school, stuff like that. So that's what most of the people around me were doing. Or maybe cleaning, or you could work at restaurants, KFC, do this, work in the kitchen, stuff like that. Yeah, but the major one that was paying more was teaching. But because of the language barrier, getting jobs was not as easy. It's not very easy for international students like that because you need the language to talk to people, to communicate with customers. Do you understand? But like teaching English language and stuff like that, fine, you still need the language, but you'll be speaking majorly English. So that one was easier for international students. So for here in England, I would say there are more opportunities compared to Russia. Firstly, you don't have to worry about the language because you speak English, right? So you could explore the healthcare sector. If you want to do buying and selling, IT, anywhere, like you could just apply anywhere as long as there's vacancy, right? And these guys did not discriminate, so you don't have to overthink and stuff like that. And yeah, in as much as there are job opportunities over here, I hear a lot of people say that getting jobs now in England is not easy because it's oversaturated and stuff like that. I know international students here in England that still struggle to get jobs to sustain themselves. So I would say if you're coming to England with the mindset of you'll be paying your school fees with what you earn, I would advise you to have a plan B, like just in case, And also for international students, we have restrictions. You cannot work for more than 20 hours in a week. So it's better you have a plan B. That's it. But in Russia, you do not have restrictions. You can work as many hours as you wish, as you want, as long as it's not affecting your schoolwork. It's not affecting, like, it's not clashing with your school timetable and stuff like that. So that's just it. But in terms of opportunities, there are more yet that you could explore compared to Russia. So I've come to the end of this video. If I'm told to select between Russia or England, I'm definitely going to pick England. Why? Because I don't have to worry about the language barrier. The education system is okay. And to be fair, for me, England just has like more opportunities to offer me. Yours could be otherwise. Just because staying in Russia didn't work for me doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. If Russia has more opportunities to offer you, please by all means embrace it. Do not work based on someone else's this thing. At the end of the day, the goal is to be successful, and God factor is important. Living Nigeria alone, is already a big step. So we need God, irrespective of the country you're in, UK, Canada, US, Russia, anywhere. We need God. We need God to survive. So me, I'm indifferent. Just go for what you want and the place with better opportunities. Because at the end of the day, the point of living in Nigeria is to make it, to give yourself a better life. So why not pursue that and trust God? So that's just it, guys. I hope you enjoy watching this video. If you have any questions to ask me, please do not hesitate to drop it in the comment section. I'll be glad to reply you. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. That's it. Bye, guys.